Keith Army. Keith Army. Army. Keith Army. Army. Keith Army.
That's a new soldier and
Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
And now, broadcasting live from the Dink Studios at 3835 Elm Street in Denver, Colorado. It's the Grind and Burn, a podcast from the Cannabis Community Project. Okay. So, coming back from the music, right? You're feeling it. You're getting in the mood.
Yeah.
You're excited. It's the beginning of the show. It's the beginning of the show, right?
Yep.
We come in, the music fades down, you get the cue, and we come in with welcome.
I would say, hi, how's it going? Welcome back.
Thanks for joining us.
It's been a great week.
I call them cannapreneurs. That's what I call my audience, like entrepreneurs in the cannabis industry.
All right. Welcome back, you cannapreneurs. Did I say it right?
Yes, cannapreneurs.
Cannapreneurs. So good to see you. 1 week can feel like a lifetime. What a beautiful week.
It's been a long, great week. Follow me. We're in the zone. It's been a long, great week.
It's been a long week. Homecoming for the kids. Yes, and my third show with Brainstorm. Getting prepped for my own show. So excited. And this week, we've got Gorilla Healer.
Burnt MD.
Burnt MD.
Brent.
What a great conversation we had this week. Oh my goodness.
Talking about CBD, health.
Yes, we had such stimulating conversation. I could have talked to him for hours.
And it wasn't all product talk. It wasn't just about what he does.
No. So it goes more beyond the product. It goes to the education. Like he said, he was researching at the age of 15. He just knew he needed to know more about this plant. He didn't know why. I'm sure he didn't know why. Yeah. I mean, we do a lot of things we don't know why. It just feels. I really connected with him because he's just a real feeler. And I can see him being a feeler.
Well, he's a healer. He's a feeler.
Right? And another good thing this week, I met a friend of mine and she was telling me how we need 8 hugs a day. 8 hugs a day. And I thought, I wonder if I get 8 hugs a day.
Well, there you go. That's a form of guerrilla healing, is hugging somebody 8 times a day, dude. Mm-hmm. You know, as they say, touch is one of the greatest healing components.
Right.
Especially in old dying people. Do you want to divulge your grandma?
Oh, yes. My grandmother passed away last night, but she'd been in a terrible physical state for the last 7 years. So it's good releasing, knowing that she can be her energy.
Presence.
Right.
Presence.
Right. Because it's not about our physical body.
Ironically, I think it's the same as you're dying and getting old. You want presence of people, just like you need it when you're born and you're young. You need the presence and touch of people to be healthy.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely believe that touch is part of our health.
Well, that's a proven fact. Beginning of the century, babies used to be separated at birth from their parents. They were told by their parents, don't give a lot of touch and affection to kids because that would somehow stunt their growth emotionally or physically. It was actually a prescribed medical thing to not be affectionate and touching with your kids.
Well, you know, I definitely can tell because I have 4 children, and I can definitely tell I'm not as touchy with my older kids.
We better edit that around so it sounds a little different. But
forget her. Let's move on.
Let's agree that touch is important in the healing process. What we talked about with Burnt MD, the microphone doctor.
When he told me what MD stand for and he said microphone doctor, I was like, you can be my doctor any day.
He had you at, hello, my name's Brent.
And then, of course, the conversation was super stimulating.
So that's what we have to look forward to this week.
Yes, this week. It's a great show.
Yes.
I look forward to continue conversations with him.
And I look forward to conversations with you.
Yes.
This is our first official co-host as we parlay this into a second show.
Yes.
So we're getting more and more airtime for you.
I know. And I appreciate you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to explore.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it because I think what we have lined up and the type of show we're going to put together is going to be unique, exciting. It's going to get people on the edge of of their seats
Yes.
and maybe a little uncomfortable at times.
I hope so. I think that's where we grow the most is in the uncomfortable spaces.
Yes. I try to make you uncomfortable as much as possible.
I know, and you totally do. Yeah.
So what's the rundown? We're going to look at health, wellness, love, relationships, sex, emotional well-being.
Yes, we're going to be visiting the 5 big areas of our life, which are health, love, relationships, career.
Touch.
Well, that would be
Affection.
That would be love.
Right. Oh, there you go.
Right.
All right.
Love.
Is love and touch the same thing?
I think there's different forms of love.
Well, these will be the conversations that will be explored.
Okay, so anyways, the five. So we're going to talk about the 5 big areas of our life: health, relationships, love, career, and a connection with something greater than us.
And it's all about wellness.
Right. And this encompasses how I believe our homeostasis is in our life, or how we feel balanced in our life. And when one of those big 5 gets out of balance, most likely you've got another one out of balance, because how we do one thing in one area, we do it in everything. And it's potential that you can be out of whack in all 5, right? That's just complete chaos. And so I really want to focus on how somebody can actually bring homeostasis back into their life by just staying put.
So that's an intro to what we'll be talking about on our show. Have we come up with an official name yet? I sent you a couple ideas. Did you look at them?
Yeah, and I didn't like them. I hated them.
None of them. All right.
Well, because I really liked the journey into wellness, but then I did that.
It's taken, though.
I know.
So
I'm trying to think about something. I'm like,
what about just into the wellness?
sounds creepy. Like into the
abyss.
beyond,
into
like
the mystic.
I think of
how about beyond wellness?
like Bed Bath and Beyond, and Family Guy always makes fun. I always want to go in the Beyond section.
Beyond wellness.
I love it.
Yes?
Beyond wellness.
All right, let's look that up when we get home.
Or beyond dieting, or beyond.
The dieting kind of brings the
I
rhythm.
know.
It's like it was so nice and smooth. The beyond dieting.
But I want it to be beyond this insanity of.
Beyond insanity.
Oh, yes.
Or what's another word for beyond? And we'll use the word like passing insanity or.
Well, because the thing is, I think what I've been trying to do is like I've been trying to live this life that I think I'm supposed to live, right? Like you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that. But the thing is, if I just stop focusing on all what everybody's telling me to do and just do for me, I feel unstoppable. And Rose called me last night that I was super mom.
Who's Rose?
My daughter.
Your daughter.
And
How
she's
old
like,
is she?
She's 8. And she said, I know what you should be for Halloween, Mom. You should be super mom. Oh. She's like, you can pick whatever color you want. And
did you cry? Can we look forward to any crying on your podcast?
Oh, a lot.
Good.
Yes.
I love crying podcasts.
You're being sarcastic.
That'll be my part on the podcast.
Yes, when it gets too emotional, you can always pull me in.
Beyond sanity.
Yeah, because what you think you're doing is supposed to be the same way.
But it's about not just finding the balance of what's acceptable and what's normal and what's sane.
Yeah.
But trying to go beyond that to the wellness of exploring the happiness, not just what do you need to be healthy.
But what do you need to be happy?
Go beyond that.
Happiness is more than how much I weigh and how many friends I have. How much income? What are your kids doing? It's like my happiness isn't.
That's just sanity.
Yeah.
So let's go beyond sanity.
Yeah, I like it.
All
beyond
right.
Sanity.
Beyond sanity. So there you go. Look forward to it. Beyond sanity.
All right. I like it.
Coming out. And next week, maybe people will hear a little intro from you about what you're all about and what you're going for. We'll see if we can piece that together.
That'd be awesome.
So before we get into our interview with Burnt MD, the microphone doctor, this week, let's make sure to revisit last week's show for a couple minutes on our short-term memory flashback relapse. What was last week's show? Do you remember that one?
Well, if we are talking about one that I co-hosted on, that was our woman from California who has photographic memory.
Lily Grace.
Oh my gosh, she was so amazing.
Yes.
She just made me think so much. And it's people like her that are pointing out how they're not organized.
Yes.
Right? Nobody's forefront. I think it feels like almost like they're keeping it in this weird space so that it can almost fail. Like they're making it as hard as possible. But in reality, there's so many people out there that want this movement to continue that everybody's doing whatever it takes just to keep it moving forward. And somebody like her is really forefront thinking that this is going to keep continuing forward, and let's start talking longevity here.
She also triggered a nerve with people around the country. I got a message from a gentleman in Michigan who had heard the show saying he's starting a business and wants to talk to her, get her advice. So there you go.
See?
People heard her and they responded. Very fun to talk to, very informational, and I can't wait to do more interaction with her.
I know for sure.
Very good.
Absolutely.
So let's take a few minutes right now to listen to that episode. If you didn't hear it, go back, listen to the full show, click like, share with your friends, tell your mom about it, and then we'll move into this week's show with Gorilla Healer. Don't envy.
Grind and burn.
Grind and burn.
Well, hello, I'm Lillian Grace. I'm comfortable being called Lily. I work in the field of cannabis as it relates to education and risk management. I currently work with a company called We Teach, and they do custom designed curriculum for card holders, general public, education courses. And what I do is read everything that's not hidden or locked away. To some people who are really intricate and personally they've seen what the rays and the other processes of the other side can do, I'm a hit. I'm a hit for them because they all follow into and I've heard this from one or more clients, they fall into what I'd rather listen to a lesson than learn one. Because there's far more of a greater consequence on the federal side than the state is even giving you the information for. The transition for the cannabis industry was I actually played around with making edibles. And once I found that I could make products that weren't green, like birthday cakes and for friends and family and wedding cakes and things like that, I wanted a restaurant. Child safety. It is a farce. It is a load of crap. It is, from a federal end, the biggest lapse in judgment. From the state end, it is the most convenient dumping ground. I think that child safety has not just been overlooked, ignored, baffling, asinine, and any other indignative vocabulary or word that I can find. Children are not the priority. They have no mechanisms in place whatsoever to offer them the safety of unintelligent, unorthodox parent. But this whole thing about not protecting children is because it doesn't allow for an allotted revenue stream to continue. That's why I'm staying away from some of the universities. When we had our team meeting, I said that the community colleges would keep it at a feasible price point. Universities that receive federal funding.
But of all the states that have gone legal in some form, which one rises above the rest as being so far the best?
She's going to pick apart Colorado. I can't wait to pick your brain on Colorado.
I'm going to say that the structure of recreational has been implemented best in Colorado.
What about medical?
The facilitation of medical has been best structured nowhere.
Okay.
That's good to know. That's good information.
Cool. I think we'll take that as a win, and we'll chalk that up on our board here.
Okay.
Well, very good. Further in the future, I'm going to ask you to come back and talk some more about a subject and kind of use you as the person who I can rely on as being at least accurate, if nothing else.
Well, I will keep reading.
Last year, there was over 200,000 people that came to Colorado. How many of them came to start a business? The competition is heating up. So if you have a business, an idea, or just some thoughts about cannabis that need to be shared with the community, do it on this show. Contact me at brainstorm@cannabiscommunityproject.com.
Hey, Cannapreneurs, let me take a second just to tell you about Cushly Organic Products. Their company puts out products that are used in hospitals, healthcare facilities, clinics, and homes throughout the United States and beyond. So Cushly has invented this very unique product that works like none other. I use it myself, and many of my close friends and family use it. What it does is it eliminates odor. It doesn't mask it. It's not a perfume. It's not a cologne. It eliminates it. And it's organic and it's non-toxic. And Cushly is one of the best. www.cushly.com. Also find them on Facebook and other social media under the same name, Cushly Organic Products.
6 degrees of Kushli. Yeah, it's amazing.
Check, yo. Check, Razor. I'm running with some of the endless flows of pro at bringing the ruckus. We kill them all, roll the fall, keeping the shit above it. I buzz like a bumble, drop drawers whenever I rumble. You said you write rhymes, but it sound like you got carpal tunnel or arthritis. I might just all night this priceless. So how you gonna change overnight, kid? My style all wild, Chappelle, you flawed now. Sure bound to sink in my waters until you all drown. Revealing you all now, fake casket put to sleep. The young vet, we hold the minds that you foreseek. I pump from Long Beach, I call it treason. My to take your soul, kick your shit for no reason. You fools do better off being neutral. Cause I go cuckoo, they see Rio and then I nuke you. Sex and bitch, they call my sutras. I make them useful. Shorty tried to lock me down, but that's the shit I'm used to. This shit is crucial. Go Facebook, I'm praising mutual. I won't remove you, I'll just let the karma suit you. This what the brew do. 40 out some in the sours. You knew towers, salted in towers. The world is ours.
Don't want it, Ill-minded, that's the Hans. Let me get him, You thought it was, Yo, check the verbal attack. It's early in the rap to leave you in a surgical strap. They get your verse, this burst with a thirst for raps. All killer scrap with a thriller latch. You got a sick beat? My heartbeat sicker, call it an illa batch. They think the Riz is back, or the jizz is back, or the jig is back. Nah, sorry to disappoint, it's just a snoop killing tracks with no complications from this skill contemplating. Leave you contemplating from the combinations of your compilations. And I never fathom, just get at them with every last atom. Subtract an atom to the battle list that can't scrap with some animals. Stay with that antidote for those that always have MC fear. For you know the regular beast coast, but the coast gonna never be clear. He'll always kill this style because it don't get better by each year. Each other minute or missing life just becomes a leap year. Cause afterlife is known, we coming after life. Couldn't see him afterlife with half the mics, he killing afterlife. Could you pass the mic for the train of thoughts of assassinites? A shot at every verse with the ill mind, that is one you have to. What y'all really want?
Check. Ain't never me, someone iller than some meat with salmonella. We go in with the flow like salmon in the river made. So many hits, no catch 22. Gotta drive to get the cake. You old bats better batter up too. We got the Mr. Beat you. Go ahead or gallant. It's me who you get on. I'm always filled up. Love letting me hold the get frisky, upper grabs like who I hit a lick with catch fishy. We'll just wait till his dog finish or swimming. Caption when we catch it, do it at me. A conflict in the kitchen, palms and fingers itching. Figured out if I'm shooting them, then that's gonna make me richer. This money ain't a joke, I won't play dumb, so I'ma get it. Was instrumental to pull strings to make income, then spin it. The truth, I've been it, the rules, I've been it. Taking selfies with fans, we banned it. Still your girl, my crew, some fuck bandits. Could you imagine in a year all that my fuck bandit? Sharp off the tongue like the blade of a razor. Never taking orders like a damn waiter. Reppin' New York like my name Walt Frazier. Been my mama angel, but I've been a hell raiser. Sharp off the tongue like the blade of a razor. Never taking orders like a damn waiter. Reppin' New York like my name Walt Frazier. Been my mama angel, but I've been a hell raiser.
Check one.
All right, it's almost 4:20. Let's begin.
All right. Hello, my name is Brent, and I'm here representing Gorilla Healer, which is a 501c3 charity based out of Colorado. I believe I've been on the Cannabis Community Project before, and we've had a really wonderful conversation, and I'm excited to be back.
That is confirmed. You have been on the show before. It was actually the first show of 2015.
Sweet.
Was the first show. If anybody wants to go back and look, they can look it up. First show of 2015 with Gorilla Healer. We are in studio today. Last time I think we were on the phone. We're in studio here, and I'm sitting here with my co-host Becca.
Hi.
And we're gonna talk some more about what you've been up to these last couple years and what you're doing to make the world a better place. So let's start off with just reestablishing. Are you still Gorilla Healer in the sense that you're making various cannabis products for patients?
Well, that was a multi-part question, I feel. But to answer it and individually categorized, I would say that, yes, I still make oils. Gorilla Healer is an active charity. We educate patients with life-threatening ailments and or just anyone who has a desire to optimize their diet, healthcare, or lifestyle. A lot of people come to us specifically to learn how to apply cannabinoid therapy to their ailment, and many have already tried conventional options. Some of the people that come to me have yet to, and are eager to take a safe and natural or original route.
And I know we went into this in pretty good depth the first time we spoke, but since it's been a while, let's just real quick touch on how did you get into this to begin with? What was the transition or the catalyst that brought you into this industry?
Well, I'm also known as Burnt MD. For those that can't understand me, that's BURNTMD. The MD stands for microphone doctor. I'm an MC. I actually first came to Colorado while I was on tour. So I sing and I rap and I sing, and I enjoy entertaining people and educating people. Of course, entertaining and educating myself. This is life. So from Burnt MD comes music that specifically discusses how to make life better. And the microphone doctor manifested into, well, what's luck, right? Luck is preparation meets opportunity. Since I was a teenager, I've been learning about cannabis and doing all sorts of research and development. I tried my green thumb, in different states. And, I've been arrested a few times in different states just for possession, carrying something that I feel helps me be happier and feel complete. And from what I know now, in terms of the education that I've learned over the years, I feel that cannabis is an essential nutrient. And so,
how long did you do time, or was it just a fine?
Different small.
Asking if he's a criminal.
Yeah, no felonies or anything.
Well, this is for me, who I'm new to cannabis in 2 years, but I know that people have consumed for their whole life and have sacrificed in the fact that they've ended up in jail for many years. I mean, just think that alone in itself disrupts life and family.
Knock on wood, I have not had to suffer the discrimination for my medical usage while I've been in Colorado, except for actually, I digress. There was a time that I got pulled over. A woman ran into my truck after coming out here, and I was the one to call 911. She seemed to be a little out of it, and she was somewhat of an elderly woman. And so, I was holding her hand, and she seemed all right, just a little out of it. And when the guys came, the guys being the boys in blue, they were very rough with me, which was odd because I was kneeled down holding this woman's hand, and we were having a nice conversation, just waiting for help to arrive. And so I was forced up, and so they found actually a gram of herb in my center console that I had got from a dispensary. And they said, we see your license on the floor there. Well, you can take that up with the judge. So they gave me a ticket for that, and they gave me a ticket for a grinder, and I had to go to court. And so that was the only action I've had to deal with out here. But, in other states, having minor possession in many, many states in our country, it will land you in places that you don't want to have to go and pay fines that you don't want to have to pay. And so these are discriminatory all the way around. If we consider cannabis being an essential nutrient, then it was legal prior to 1937. Then, so there's people literally profiting off of impeding on our freedoms to help ourselves. And many of us, some including in this room, myself, feel that we need this to live a better life. I know many people who need this to live life, period. And so medical necessity is a huge subject in my daily life.
So Colorado being a natural location to migrate to, when did you get involved in your first patient type interaction where you went away from just treating yourself to taking that externally, to finding somebody else where you felt strong enough to start to produce medicine for?
Well, it did all start with learning how to heal myself. I have no business telling anybody what I think if I haven't haven't experienced it unless I'm asked what I've researched. And so I guess when my friend passed away from leukemia and I couldn't help, and he was on the other side of the country in Vermont, rest in peace, DJ A-Dog, and somebody came to me during that time. I was researching how to help, and one of my friends came to me, or sponsors came to me and said, my family member has leukemia. If you ever come across cannabis oil, a way to heal her with cannabis, let me know, because we all hear about this, but we don't know how to do it. And so I found myself in front of, I guess, an opportunity to help somebody and no way to do it. So I sought that. And I found that there was a couple of people in my network, Nicotine and Jason Love, who one was researching on CBD and the other who had THC oil that was just donating it to people who needed to live. And so they were utilizing me as a messenger of love. And I was answering my call.
How long ago was that?
Well, Guerrilla Healer was started in 2014, and I believe about a year before that I was contacted about this, and maybe 8 months before that I had started the endeavor.
Maybe late 2012. How many people, patient-wise, do you think you've seen over the last 4 years that you've had a hand in participating on some form of treatment?
Well, to answer that question, I would have to say that there's a lot of people who I talk to that I don't treat, though they come for guidance.
That you don't treat by providing some form of cannabis?
Well, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. And so to be practicing medicine or to be recommending treatment is probably illegal. And so, I don't do that. I tell people if they ask what I would do, what they were asking about, and that's really all I can do. A lot of us want to, a lot of us feel powerless when we're in a situation that's life-threatening, and we feel, okay, you know more than me, I'm going to put my life in your hands, and that's a big responsibility, and really we're just responsible for ourselves. So if somebody can't take care of themselves and they need a consistent effort, that can help. And so that's what Guerrilla Healer is looking to establish, is a residential healing retreat where patients can utilize safety first and wonderfully source the original options, as well as some conventional treatments if necessary, to stimulate our body's natural regeneration. And I'm saying consistency, because consistency is key. We can try something, we can do something, but if we're not going to stick with it, then it may not work.
So the retreat would be a place where people could come and be involved in various types of health-based activities, or just specifically a cannabis type retreat where they're coming there just for, I guess, use?
Well, Guerrilla Healers focus on diet, healthcare, and lifestyle. And so in different places of the world that we're working, there's different modalities that are favored. I'm not one to close off anything. I think that safe access to what we need for medical needs is, trumps anybody else's opinion.
Where are you at in that process? Are you trying to raise money for it? Are you just in the conceptualizing stage of putting together the idea?
Well, with any venture, having the right team is necessary. And I've been working on myself and working with great people and learning who I work well with and who can help me do this sacred work. And it's not easy, and it's not for everyone. It doesn't give me a paycheck. There's people that have been coming to me for different reasons, and there's some aspects that from this way of life that can generate ways to pay our bills and such. And, obviously I put up YouTube videos and how-tos and how to make cannabis oil in 7 easy steps. You can check that out at 7easysteps.org. And, just by watching the video, I get 5 millionths of a cent, I think.
Is that your main gig? Is that how you support yourself?
No, not by any means.
Do you have a job? Do you have a regular 9 to 5 that you have
I was
to go
in the
to?
entertainment industry.
I'm interested in your entertainment background. Like, do you still do that and can bring money into what you're really passionate about?
Well, yeah, I expanded because I love making music and really writing. Turn that into vocalizing my writings, and actually just that journey itself, being an MC, is different than just writing. A recording artist is different than a performing artist. But I've got back into it. Everything took a back seat to helping people. When I came out here, I headlined my own show, and that did really well at Cervantes on the other side. My next step was to go bigger. Actually, I did a bunch of bigger shows out here. But in terms of headlining something, You know, I've always gone on tour with a lot of famous people. That was my first headline show, so that was awesome. And I throw concerts as well. I'm an event coordinator, so I help brand it, some really prominent companies out here. A couple of them, Incredible and Essential Extracts, threw some sold-out events for them. One of them sold out both sides of Cervantes. Another one was the first ticketed event at the old Hood Lab, and we had about 1,000 people there for 420 event. And so, you know, I learned how to maximize my capabilities so that I can actually do music, because, you know, we have bills, we have to make money. And so I started doing things to make money, and I didn't want to have to play the game that everybody else plays, where, you know, you're opening up or you're paying clubs to open up. So I started throwing my own show.
That's how you support yourself.
That's how I did support myself. That's how I support myself for many years. And while that took a back seat, I used some of the money that I made from the entertainment industry, from Broker and Features, and from various other ventures to continue. And sometimes I dip back in and do a deal here and there and power myself. From that stemmed into realizing a lot of people were asking me for clean and compassionately priced CBD oil. I was working with it. I just didn't ever have enough to ever even consider A, selling it, and B, putting it to market. And so once I realized that the need was really there because of all the contacts, you know, requests that I'm receiving. Hey, do you know where to get it? Do you know where to get it? Do you know where to get it? And a lot of these people were already using other products. At that point, I was like, all right, well, I'm doing all this charity work and people are asking me for all this, because I didn't want to mix money with what I was doing with helping people. It just didn't feel right. And it still doesn't feel right. But I know that value in the entertainment industry, I value my time well. And so in this side of the world where I'm dealing with people directly and most of the time for free, I typically get devalued. Yet, you know, I don't expect anything. And so now where I have the ability to actually source the strains that we were researching and developing or R&Ding for years with various ailments successfully, finally found ways to grow enough of it and to have consistent supplies of it, clean and wonderfully extracted into, you know, solvent-free, whole plant extracted capsules that we have that are helping a lot of people. And, you know, I still provide it at a compassionate price, and it's less than most other products on the market, and it still can help me out a little bit. And so that's one way that has been powering me in maybe the past year as well. So we've been expanding on that. A lot of people have been interested in what that's doing for people, because it's much more legal than THC, obviously. Yeah. And so in terms of helping people, from the first patient that I actually helped guide to healing herself, that stemmed into other people asking me for help, and other people asking me for help, and then me actually just doing more research and learning more and learning more and learning more and wanting to share what I learned. And that journey just blossomed into a whole new world of really just sharing knowledge.
I appreciate you sharing that in detail, not because I want to pry into your life, but my whole show is based around helping people understand that same concept, that if there's something you want to do, but you think there's barriers, like you don't have money, or you have another job already, or there's no way to make money because you're trying to do it as a nonprofit, but listening to people talk about how they actually make money, to me, is important, because that's what I'm trying to get other people to do, is to understand that it's not always so black and white, right? It's not that you have to leave your day job to get in this industry, or be in this industry only if you're charging money for everything you do, that maybe there's other ways to do it. So by you giving your story of, you know, maybe not in full detail, but a little bit how you're surviving, might trigger somebody else's thought pattern to go, oh, well, maybe I can survive too, by still pursuing my own thing. And your thing is music, and now it's guerrilla healing. You're bringing them together.
I have an album called Not So Black and White.
Oh, there you go.
I would say that I love inspiring us to subscribe to self-worth, to say that with dedication and discipline, which doesn't have to be negative, and determination, we can manifest our dreams and figure out the lanes that we're comfortable in. We just got to do it. There's no trying in life. There's only doing. And so if you feel passionate about something, if you're lucky enough to find something that you're passionate about, it took me a long time to find these things that really spark me all the time.
Well, that's why I was asking about the years of when you started, so somebody could hear that it took you years.
Yeah, I was 15 reading books, you know, just how to grow cannabis. I'm just like, wow. And obviously smoking the shit out of it. So
Osmosis.
I'm 35 now. And so I've learned a little bit because I've been paying attention.
But it doesn't happen overnight.
No. I want to start learning about how cannabis can help us and why it can work. Learn about our endocannabinoid system. That's where it all starts. And once we can relearn math, we can understand why 1 + 1 = 2.
And that's endo, E-N-D-O, not endo, I-N-D-O.
C-A-N-N-A-B, cannabis, I-N-O-I-D, cannabinoid. I think that's right.
Spelling bee contest.
Well,
Sorry, we did not move on to the next round.
I was really good at spelling bees.
Well, it has to be a spelling bee contest, or else nobody will look it up. And then when they try to look it up, they'll have no idea because they hear the word Indo and they'll start punching in Indo like I-N. Thinking like smoking Indo. Sorry.
So endocannabinoid system, we all have it. Everything with a vertebrate, even spiders, though, and it regulates our immune system, our neurological system, our digestive system, potentially even our endocrine system, many things. There's receptors in us that are waiting for cannabinoids, or in our body anandamides, and we specifically, anandamides stimulate the same receptors, and that's why things like turmeric work really well, because turmeric stimulates the CB1 receptor.
Like, what's the difference between paste and like a tincture or the oil?
Well, tincture is typically in alcohol, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So that would be for oral.
Yeah, alcohol tends.
But then what about the thick oil that you see people just
That's typically
swallowing?
zero carrier.
What does that mean?
Zero carrier means there's no homogenization with any other oils. It's just the essential oil, the essential
And you
oil.
can just eat that, right? Just orally.
You can, but
Does
that's
it do anything
why,
for your body?
Sure, but if you ate a gram of oil, you would end up excreting probably 30 to 40% of it. And so making it more bioavailable is homogenizing it with a healthy fat such as
Walnut oil, avocado oil.
That's some really, really fine stuff that if people can
Well, I have
dish
fine
out.
taste.
Hey. A lot of people use coconut oil. I would
coconut
say
oil.
unrefined organic coconut oil. Definitely unrefined, because refined is deodorized, I believe. And so if you're going to go with the coconut oil, if you don't want to splurge for the organic, you're going to be giving yourself pesticides. That's up to you. But unrefined, if you're going to go with, definitely go with organic. If you're going to go with something else, you want to go with cacao butter. That's really great. You want to go, you can do honey. There's so many things, I really try to stay away from glycerins and other sugar-based mediums. I have some really awesome Snickers edibles and strawberry white chocolate Butterfinger cup edibles, and I don't give them to patients. So I have
That's just for Halloween.
Well, I don't even eat sugar anymore.
I'm with you right now. I'm starving. It sounds amazing.
I don't eat sugar anymore, so I don't eat that stuff. I don't give it to patients. If somebody's recreationally and or medicinally yet wants to eat sugar, but they're not a cancer patient of some sort, or epileptic, or somebody autistic that I feel that is going to be exacerbated by the sugar, then I'll give them one.
Well, would you make it something more like a natural sugar? Because I'm the same, but I eat paleo desserts, so like the dark chocolate. So would you look at like paleo edibles?
I do. I provide sugar-free options and work with some really awesome people who pay attention to that stuff. The charity store, Gorilla Healer store, is called Beneficial Diet, and so I'm really where compassion meets quality. That's what we're all about.
That's your website,
well,
Beneficial Diet?
The website's being worked on. Our email is cbd@beneficialdiet.com if anybody's interested in anything. But the website is being worked on, and we're actually doing some wonderful things. And eventually, Gorilla Healer website right now, gorillahealer.org, will lead you to our GoFundMe page, which was created when Newsweek was following me around and said, hey, you need some sort of fundraiser. We'll put it in the article. So I did that. So the fundraiser's there. It exists. It says, hey, help us create our sacred healing retreat and our cannabis refugee center, which would serve as the in-town, outpatient center and community center.
So back to that, where are you? Like, is your next step in that process for the retreat finding a space that you can afford? Is it raising money? You already have a space, you just need to raise the money?
Well, that's a great question. I have multiple opportunities that I am vetting to consider establishing this in multiple areas. And so, my program specifically is about full spectrum care and access and consistency with quality. And so if my specific standards can be met, then I will put the Gorilla Healer name to these actions, and we will together do what I want to protect as our sacred work. And I intend on doing this many times. I was just talking with my friend Bush earlier today. I said, Bushy Bush, I said, he's a reggae DJ from Jamaica and Brooklyn. Big up BK. So you know, I said, when I die, you know, I want there to be a positive legacy. And you know, some of us have died and it gets tarnished in a sense. I guess it's a full spectrum. There's a yin and a yang. But I'd still like to positively inspire, and I'd like that system to be implemented so that, you know, these things can be protected when I'm gone.
Well, you would like to see it in your lifetime and not be like a Picasso where you have to die and then 100 years later be recognized.
If it takes my lifetime to do it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I would love to see it, but I'm not that egotistical. It's not like, hey, I have to rush it. You know, it has to be done right, and that's it.
But it would be nice, right? I mean,
of course,
to see the fruits of your labor out there.
Yeah, but I'm also a catalyst, and so, you know, just the same as catalyst for me. And so if I am the brick in this, you know, rainbow to say, hey, this is the step that we need to take, and somebody does it after me, cool. If I get to do it, yeah, you know, then I get to live out more of my dreams. I mean, that's what life is all about, and I'm doing my best to stay focused and not be distracted. And, you know, I don't have cable. I don't have a TV in my house. You know, I'm watching Netflix on my phone and or my computer, because Narcos is pretty dope.
Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day. Season 2 is coming out.
It's out already.
Is it already?
Yeah, bro, it's been coming out. You better get on that. You got a whole weekend now.
Well, I've been binge watching other shows. When you said Narcos.
It's about Pablo Escobar. Everybody loves.
We were talking about the other day.
The story of a criminal, I guess. I don't know.
we just talked about this the other day. She knows what this is.
But it's not even about a criminal. It's about people that really just
You're using different terminology.
live their dreams.
We're using this the same show.
And Narcos on Netflix. Do you have any sponsors we have to shout out instead of Netflix?
No TV.
Netflix
sponsor.
is not donating any money to helping people. Maybe they are. I have no idea their program.
I'd be more than happy. No, Netflix should donate to you before they donate to me, because I'm in it for the money on this side. I'm trying to make a living.
Oh.
Can I ask your background? Like, how did you grow up?
Well, we moved from Brooklyn to New Jersey to the suburbs. And my father's a doctor. He's retired and disabled. My mother's a substitute teacher now. She's a full-time teacher for autistic children for many, many years. You know, my father worked 3 jobs, and I rarely saw him. And my mother worked when she could. And I have an older sister, she's my half-sister. We have the same mother. And my school, there was probably 100 white kids and 1,000 black kids and every other ethnicity I can imagine, and even less Jewish kids.
Are you Jewish?
Yes.
We're in New Jersey. The burbs. Yeah, what burbs in New Jersey?
Monmouth County. It's South Central by Freehold, like a half hour from the beach. Not on the beach, or not in Newark or anything like that.
Not Jersey Shore?
Well, no, it's about a half hour from the Jersey Shore.
Okay.
In fact, one of those kids, the situation, he was in the town next to me. I knew a kid that sold him drugs. He was a big druggie.
Great. And I'm going to have a lawsuit from him.
No. I think he still is. That's comedic radio for you.
Well,
I don't know.
You see, that's yeah.
I have questions. So you said you read a lot about growing cannabis and cannabis when you were 15. What made you interested in cannabis at 15? What were you researching?
I mean, why does any kid smoke weed?
I didn't. I didn't smoke weed till I was 19.
Okay. Well, I guess I wanted to be happier. In fact, I smoked weed first when I was 15, 14. And I went to rehab first when I was 15. And most of that was coupled with depression. I went to rehab again on my 16th birthday. I went to rehab when I was 15 on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th.
Was it rehab for marijuana? Because they thought there was an issue. Was it others?
No. The 15-year-old one, I was incredibly depressed. And I didn't really want to live. But I wanted to live. I just wasn't happy with life. And so I asked for help. The 16-year-old one on my 16th birthday, I got put in. It wasn't really about that one. I was off the handle. So that was pretty necessary. And so thank you to my parents if they ever listen. But I've already thanked them, and so I don't need this radio show to do that. Ultimately, that's what this is about, growth. You know, Burnt MD's crew or movement is GTD, growth till death. And it started out as get that dough because they're one and the same in this life. And so, you know, money and being a spiritual warrior is what I believe in. And that's why I've been very called to the Standing Rock Initiative. That's why I'm very called to genocide of any kind. That's why I'm very called to helping us in time of need. I feel Guerrilla Healer feels that everybody needs emergency health care at some point, and so we can make it free. That's my goal. And shout out to the situation. I didn't mean to call you a junkie, motherfucker. I love you. That was pretty terrible of me to do. I don't even know.
That's funny. To me, that's a relevant question, because learning a little bit about where you came from, not that it connects the dots of why you are who you are today, but it just helps fill out the picture of who you are, which I think is important. Because again, I'm trying to help people facilitate transitions on their own.
Absolutely.
The more we know who Guerrilla Healer is and where you came from, maybe somebody else gets inspired, hey, my situation was similar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to throw people off. People hear, oh, your father's a doctor, you grew up with a fucking silver spoon, and that's not the case. I don't typically get into all that. I am who I am. You see me, you hear me, you listen to me. If you don't, that's up to you. Where I come from is relevant to me. And so if it's relevant to other people, then I would share that with intention that you might be able to be inspired for your own self, because I could hear about somebody in Alaska and what they did and be inspired to do something over here in Brazil, or over here in Brooklyn or in Chicago or wherever we may be. And I say we and us because I don't believe in us versus them. I believe that we are all one under the sun. We're all on the same earth. We're all part of the earth's microbiology. We have microbiology inside of us, millions of organisms, billions probably, that are literally helping us stay alive. And so if they die, we die. Actually, if we die, I think the earth is going to be fine. But maybe not. We're here and we're all a part of it.
Yeah, do you watch Netflix? Jim Jeffries has his new stand-up special, Freedom. It's really, really good. It's probably his best one. But he talks about basically we're killing ourselves. Human beings are on the path of extinction, and the earth can't wait to get rid of us.
I would like to say that we have the ability to not live that out. Words have power. So I have subscribed to the notion that what I say will be positive. I'd like to cultivate our healing, and I know that it starts with me. And I am going to walk around, talking about being happy and selling coke, then I am contributing to negativity. If I am going to walk around talking shit and working a job all day long and not doing what I love to do, then I'm likely not cultivating love within myself. And I think really it all starts with our diet. Many of us are born with issues to where, we have some sort of wiring issue and we have a seizure or we have sclerosis or millions of ailments that we cannot control having. But at the same time, those of us who can control our daily functions, our mood is controlled by our digestive system. More often than not, we can literally be happier by what we put inside of it. And that is also connected with our immune system. I think that's another reason why cannabis works. I always thought, before I ever really understood endocannabinoid system, I thought cannabis makes us happier. So our cells are going to be happier to work for us. And then now I'm realizing that it's really much more science behind that. It's fascinating. So I encourage anybody to do their own research on our endocannabinoid system.
Is there one or two things that you've come across in all your research and studies over the last years that stand out as being the one thing that we need to avoid or have in our diet to make that gut to emotion to mind balance happen? Is there something we're consuming as a mass population that is, more bad than good?
Well, there's plenty of things, oil being one of them.
High fructose corn syrup.
I agree. And specifically because the corn that's grown for that is typically GMO corn. And so it comes out with the pesticides in the high fructose corn syrup, and that's poison. But nevertheless, I just meant oil in terms of like fossil fuels. But yeah, sugar is something that I cut out from my diet that helped me lose 50 pounds. I also added small amounts of THC oil, which also turned on my fat burning. A significant difference in my digestive system and in my life.
So you're adding THC oil to your daily coffee, cereal?
I make capsules.
Capsules, taking it.
You can take it however you want. Just get it in.
And I always heard, too, for CBD, best ingested, bioavailability by ingestion for like autoimmune issues as well, like the digestion, fibromyalgia, a lot of those autoimmune diseases that we're seeing.
Well, yeah, I think that different ailments call for different measures, and smoking or vaping has many benefits. I think that getting the essentials into our bloodstream is typically going to be a more direct approach to relief. At the same time, only getting it into the bloodstream and not allowing the medicine to cross our blood-brain barrier can prevent some of these synchronicities from happening. And so, getting high is actually medicinal.
Do you believe when you were 15 and going through those stages of depression, it was because of diet?
No. Well, I mean, I grew up on microwave foods.
Okay.
I grew up on just sugar, or snacks or whatever. It's not like my parents were feeding me that.
You're just a grown teenager who was eating outside the home.
Boy, even eating in the home. My mom didn't distinguish between the microwave and death, and she's not a bad person. Most of us used the microwave. Most of us were buying products that were bad for us, fruit roll-ups or all these other freaking things that we just want more of.
What type of doctor was your dad?
Internist.
Just curious. curious to how he looked at nutrition and diet growing up.
Well, he's had his own journey, and so you'd have to ask him. But I know that now he's lost a whole lot of weight as well, and he's eating way better, and he's feeling way better, and he's looking way better, and it's really amazing.
So what one thing can we walk away with here that we can say, if we forget everything that you've talked about, but we remember one thing, what would you want people to walk away from this with?
Well, we're worth not sleeping on ourselves. We're worth spending the extra dollar on ourselves. And that doesn't mean instant gratification. That means what's going to benefit me, period. And benefit, I want to share that. I didn't know what I was doing or what it was for. But then it dawned on me after I did it. I said, this might be good to read on the show. So I wonder, how do we live? What's essential to life? Question.
Food, the water, the shelter, the love.
So the first thing you said, what's food?
Nutrition, fuel.
What's your definition of food?
Nutrients.
Nutrients. Okay. So what's your definition of nutrients?
Well, for me, it's how I eat so I have energy for my day and what I'm doing. Not just putting in something in my mouth.
Because it tastes good?
Right.
What's your definition of nutritious?
Probably hitting back to the fuel aspect of something you put in you that contributes to the positive growth and advancement of your body to keep functioning. So something you put in you that lets your body continue to function properly.
Is that different than survival tactics?
Probably not. I mean, eating is a form of survival, so...
I could probably eat something that's not good for me and sustain myself till a little later.
For me, it's a matter of feeling like shit. I never want to go back to the way that I eat it because I don't want to feel like I'm dead. Like, I can't even get myself out of bed. At least now I feel like I'm reliving my 20s again, and I'm going to do it right. Just because I'm starving and there's a donut sitting at 7-Eleven, I'm not going to buy the donut. I'll look for the package of nuts and water and go on my way. And at least I won't feel like crap in an hour because I ate the donut. So I guess it's a conscious choice to fuel so I feel alive and not dead.
That's great. So I looked up
I concur.
The definition of food from the Webster's, and its definition is any nutritious substance that people or animals eat or drink, or that plants absorb in order to maintain life and growth. Quote, we need food and water. That's how you use it in a sentence. And the synonyms are nourishment, sustenance, nutriment. I said, okay, because there's so many products. We walk into a supermarket. How much of it is food? Seemingly all food, except for obviously the lotions and diapers and stuff, but it's edible. But if it's food, it should be potentially good for us. And so it seems that very small percentage of items in our supermarkets, which are generally where most of us are shopping for our food, we have access to anything that's healthy or even affordable, really. Whereas actually now organic is not that much more expensive. In fact, sometimes it's even cheaper because they're just trying to get rid of it because there's just more of the other stuff. There's an abundance of organic because most people are buying the other stuff because they thought it was cheaper. And so nowadays, you'll find organic that's not bad yet. They've put it on sale. And so that's great. It hasn't been sprayed with pesticides and stuff. None of us would drink Roundup, but we're going to save money on feeding ourselves because we don't want to buy the organic because it's too expensive because I'm not a customer. Meanwhile, I'm paying for something that's actually not nutritious. And so I looked it up. What's the definition of nutritious? Having substances that a person or animal needs to be healthy and grow properly, promoting good health and growth. So if food is any nutritious substance that we need to maintain life and growth, nutritious means having substance to grow properly, promoting good health and growth. What does properly mean? Properly means strictly accurate, exactly correct. It doesn't mean like just okay or just to get by. Maintain. What does maintain mean? It says if we're any nutritious substance that we use to maintain life and growth. What does maintain mean? To uphold and defend against danger. To keep in good condition. And so what's life? Obviously, that seems pretty simple, but I was like, what's the definition of life in the dictionary? The sequence of physical and mental experiences that make up the existence of an individual, or an orgasmic state characterized by capacity for metabolism, growth, reaction to stimuli, and reproduction. And of course, the last thing, because maintain life and growth, what is growth? A stage or condition in increasing, developing, or maturing. The tree reached its full growth. And so, that's one way to use it in a sentence. But by the strict definition, I'm looking to identify what food actually means and what would define food. And if something is not specifically nutritious, which would benefit promoting good health and growth, it shouldn't be considered food. And therefore, I feel like we're actually being sold on a farce. We're systematically being disassociated from ourselves. I was just having this conversation with Gama, who's a notable painter from our area, Gama Gallery. Check him out on Instagram or anywhere. But I was talking to him about, yo, I really want you to consider painting a mural about Standing Rock. And he's like, bro, of course. But what's the bigger issue? Distraction. We're distracted from everything all the time. And all of the issues we cannot stand up for, we choose not to stand up for because we're distracted. Meanwhile, we see it overseas in other places where there are less distractions and they're more focused on these things because they don't really have much on TV or have radio or have all these ads everywhere, all these other things. They're stopping going to work.
Well, and the other thing, too, with the other countries is their diet's different, right? There's things that we have in America that aren't allowed in other countries, but yet we readily feed it to our families, friends.
So that's a great point. And so what does sugar do to us? What does something that's not nutritious do to us? All of the millions and billions of organisms in our digestive system helping us live, helping us pass food properly through us, properly, exactly, accurate, through us. In order to maintain our good health, we have to cultivate, we have to grow, we have growing food, it has to be healthy. We're not just fucking having food, we're growing it, it's like healthy food. And we got to grow our gut, our digestive system. And so if we're not doing that and we're eating things that aren't nutritious, then we're literally killing ourselves and we're keeping ourselves depressed. We're depressing the growth of our microbiota. And so we've heard of probiotics, and what that is a way to cultivate our microbiota. And so we literally will be happy that we're getting fed something that is helping us. If we are cultivating our microbiota, which are the living organisms in us, the microbiology, then that will help our mood and our immune system, and we'll be happy and healthy, which is the two things that we're always saying, happy and healthy. And so how do we do that? By eating the right things. And if we are lucky enough to not have be suffering from specific ailments that we were born with, or of course end up getting injured or coming down with, and those of us who do, a lot of times just need love, and many of us need to switch our diet. And when we're sick, many of us have to resort to Medicaid or to our insurance companies or to what things will get paid for. Okay, this is the only thing that's going to be paid for, so this is what I have to use because I just can't afford anything else. And what is that? I don't know, but this is all I can do, so I'm going to do it. And so, it's a constant cycle of using things that probably or potentially, let's say, not impeccably sourced. When we're giving something to our child or to ourselves to make us better from being sick, we have to use things that, we would want to use things if we could. That was the best. We'd travel around through the world to the other end of the world to find the potion to heal my child or to heal myself. And in 2016, for a long time, our country is set up to where we're depending on somebody else to take care of ourselves or our family. And because we feel we don't have the options, we're systematically disassociated from ourselves or from our history or from the knowledge of how to help ourselves throughout the thousands of years of learning, of living and learning. Learning is forever experiencing. That's light. Learning is forever experiencing or evolving. And so if we're not learning, then what are we doing? We're being stagnant or we're getting left behind. And so I just looked up the word impeccable because my friend Kenny put me onto this. He said acting impeccable. It's not just about outside exerting energy. It's of behavior, which means for me, performance, which means for you, or appearance, for both of us, I guess, in accordance with the highest standards of propriety, faultless, a man of impeccable character. And so if we want a product that's, impeccable for healing purposes or just for feeding, I mean, would we eat shit? Would we eat fucking exhaust from a car? No. But yet when we go out, we say, oh, that tastes great. I'm going to fucking eat the shit out of that. But it might ruin my stomach later. And then when you talk to me later on, I'm like, I can't talk. I'm in the bed. I got a stomach ache. I can't talk. And think, an autistic person, they don't talk. Every single autistic person has a gut issue. And so it's beyond saying, hey, I can't talk. I'm in pain. It's constant. It's literally don't have the microbiology in order to sustain function. And so if we can fix our gut, we can fix so much. And so, yeah, sugar runs rampant in our digestive system and runs rampant on our immune system and on our brain. I eat sugar, I turn into an asshole. All I'm going to care about is eating more sugar, having fun, doing whatever I want to do, being in a sugar craze. And I'm just very susceptible to that. I have a sweet tooth, so I have to be mindful of that. It's not the easiest thing in the world, I love homemade whipped cream. But, there's ways to eat without having these things. And it's just being mindful. And people make fun of you, whatever. You want to eat something that's going to poison you, go ahead. But for me, I know that I look better, I feel better, and I'm healthier, and I'm not in the bathroom all the time. I eat a bag of chips that's not organic, though it's running through my system. I feel like shit. Like last night, I had a bag of Cape Cod chips. I was like, this can't be so bad. The ingredients are just potatoes, oil, and salt. It just wasn't organic. And, last night, my lymph nodes was getting swollen. I started feeling sick, and literally was that quick where my body body is now used to clean eating, something poison is affecting me. Whereas for a long time, I was eating basically just poison. I was capable of sustaining that because my body was just, I don't know, in a state of shock, but systematically getting worse and worse. And now I have inflammatory issues and other issues that I deal with. And so we're all the same. Oh, I did this when I was younger or whatever. But we can't tell our kids to do something. If we're not doing it, they're going to see what we're doing and they're going to want to do it.
My biggest challenge is getting my kids to realize what they're eating. So the only thing that I can hope for now is that they see how I eat and they'll eventually transform and evolve into healthy or nutritious eating.
Look how McDonald's is successful, advertising constantly. And so over time, we acclimate. Humans mimic. And so we may decide to go into a different environment because we're sick of that and we don't want to mimic that. Or we may just over time acclimate to what is going on. And later on in life, be like, my mother taught me and I'm healthy because of this. And, you know, it may have taken them time to do it, you know, but shit, growing up, my grandmother's always save your money. It took me time to start doing that, you know, but we all have our own journey. We just got to hear it enough times before we really implement it for ourselves. Sometimes telling ourselves it is really the start. It's like, I'm going to be successful, you know, not just saying I'm going to do something because that's bullshit. That kind of takes away our esteem for it, but setting intent, right? That's why praying is so important to many people because we're literally setting intent. And so when we can say something and then follow through, it's incredible. And we can. That's why I go around asking people on this little web series I put out, For the Love, the number 4, and then the love, and, you know, Burnt MD. But I ask people 2 questions. We're going to end with this. The first question is, if you were a loved one, God forbid, got sick, and the only potential treatment was illegal, would you break the law and help them or stand by and watch them suffer? Would you guys care to answer?
I would absolutely break the law.
Both of you would break the law. And second question, what is your contribution to our world?
A question that takes probably a second longer.
Sometimes it leaves people speechless. If you watch the videos, you'll see them. A lot of people have that same reaction.
To me, I immediately have things that come to mind, and then I get embarrassed going, that's not a real contribution to the world.
I mean, if it's just recycling, then cool. You know, that's right. A part. It doesn't mean that's the only thing you do.
Oh, we're not doing anything.
Calling me out.
I have chickens. I have a greenhouse. Actually, I don't do this. My husband does all this, so I'm spoiled rotten.
I smoke cannabis.
We make our own kombucha, and I love weed.
I love weed. Awesome. That's a great quote, by the way.
I work on being nice to people, not being an asshole. Hey, you think that's funny? That's a big issue in the world.
That's work for him.
That is.
Hey, we can't, be mad at that. If that's what he's doing. However he gets to where he's got to go is cool.
I try to look for the right thing to do without it being the right thing to do because I'm expecting return. I try to find the right things to do in life and try to block out the thought that comes afterwards of, well, this should bring good to me. I try to look for doing good without it being a selfish act, which is difficult.
Incentive. You don't want incentive for doing something good.
I try not to make that an issue, although it's hard to separate sometimes. I also try to do my part in spreading the message to the world by providing this podcast to try to get people to give their message uninterrupted is what I believe the biggest contribution I give to media is I let people talk. Whereas most media who claim to be delivering messages don't let people talk. I try to raise my 2 kids as best as possible so they grow up to be contributing citizens to the world. But I think the biggest thing I contribute to the world is the top of mind share I have in my daily life is I want to be better and I would like to help the world be better. Even though I don't have specific answers for how, it's always something that's at the top of my mind. And I think that's the start, at least on my part. And if other people would at least have it somewhere in their mind, then maybe we could figure out what to exactly do to implement these things into the world. I don't have a lot of answers on what to do, but I think my contribution is at least having it in presence of mind, along with the other little things I'm working on, and not being an asshole.
Well, I think holiness is tolerance. So not being an asshole is sometimes, often just enough for all of us to do what we do.
I want you to sing Funky Cold Medina by Tone Loc.
You're fucking hilarious. You're not the only person to tell me I sound like Tone Loc. In fact, the other day, because of this hat, this woman pulled up to me. Oh, no, not this hat. The other hat that I have in the car. She pulled up to me and said I look like Cologito from A Bronx Tale.
I love your voice and I love your accent.
I'm not going to do that. the funky Cole Medina. Yeah, it's a Brooklyn accent. This is what you call a Brooklyn accent.
So I definitely know he's not from here.
Coloradans have no accents.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous.
I'd like to recommend we all consider reading books about self-accountability.
Okay.
And I'm not even joking, and I'm not saying that to be facetious. I'm saying that it starts with taking accountability for ourselves, for our actions, and for our choices. And when we stop thinking things are happening to us and we start making things happen for us, that's accountability. There's one that I read that was a gift. It was a career-based one. It has a puzzle on the front of it, colored puzzle on the front of it, I think. You know, I recommended one recently where I just looked on Google and it seemed like an okay one. I was like, yeah. You know, I mean, I just want us to consider that we make what we are doing. Unless we're a child or unless we are locked down or, you know, somebody is literally controlling us, then we have the ability to actively pursue our happiness. And at the same token, even if we are locked down or whatnot, happiness is a choice. And so at any given time, we can decide to be happy and focus on something that makes us happy. And that's even what meditating is. You're focusing on something that either helps you not think or helps you think happier or helps us cultivate the energy with which we wish to exist.
Excellent. Perfect quote to go on out. I don't think anything better could top that one right there. If somebody wants to talk to you more directly, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, you can email help@guerrillahealer.org. It's GUERILLAHEALLER.org. And we'll get you speaking to me or someone that will be helping me, ideally. And then I will, of course, be able to let you know what I think, because I'm happy to be here for us.
Nice. Thank you very much for all your time coming down here.
Thank you for having me.
Talking about even the personal things that you don't want to.
Well, I mean, you know, it's not necessarily relevant to anybody's healing journey. People want to know about me, and I'm not ashamed of who I am, and I'm not afraid of who I am, and it's well past the statutes of limitations, so I'm not really worried about anything. But I'm not some candy boy from down the block. I've had my own experiences, and I'm really just happy to be here.
Nice. Can I ask you to come back on again?
You may ask me to come back on again.
All right.
Sure. Yeah, whenever you feel ready to ask, then we can have that.
But what else would you want to talk about in the future?
I think what we did here today was great, and, you know, if there's anything that you ever want me to weigh in on, you can ask me, and I'll decide whether or not I want to weigh in on it.
Are you going to decide that before we turn on the mics, though, or in the middle of the conversation you're going to tell me now?
Both. Again, I'm not shy. You know, if you ask me something I don't want to answer, then you may or may not catch a no.
All right.
I'll tell you what I would want to talk about. I'd want to talk about the Denver Bronco who took a knee yesterday during the national anthem, and or Colin Kaepernick. I just want to mention now, I feel this. Anybody who feels that taking a stand at work is not socially acceptable might want to consider whether or not we're counting ourselves when we go to sleep, because ultimately I'm not a sheep. If I compromise my morals and integrity, I no longer have integrity. I no longer will withstand the test of time for myself, to be myself, to be happy with myself. And so if we work on live television or we work on the air, where's a better place to speak our mind? And what is class? To be classy is to come across with some sort of definitely non-violent action, I imagine. I mean, I guess there's some sort of classy maneuvers in ninjaism or whatever. But I feel that taking a knee in this time seems like a silent protest. And we all know why they're doing it. And so it's not like saying F the country. It's saying I'm sitting for something. And I think it takes guts. And so while I don't condone everybody not being patriotic, I condone being patriotic and saying, hey, it's in our Constitution, kind of makes us responsible for ourselves and says if we don't like something, then we need to do something about it. And we have the rights to. And so those of us who are in fear are looking to control, and those of us who are happy are not looking to control. But it's the time to start considering, for those of us who are happy and want to be happy, that, hey, we need to stop subscribing to control.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
All commentaries welcome here. I have nothing to object with that commentary. Thank you very much. Becca, thank you for joining me once again in the studio. And Guerrilla Healer, until next time.
Becca, it was very nice to meet you. I enjoy your voice, and it's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
In my ears.
There you go, Cannapreneurs. That's all I have for you this week. Thank you very much for joining us. Make sure to come back next week. And after the show, you can always carry on the conversation with us on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, Mass Roots, and so much more. Even YouTube. Stay involved because this is your community. So next week, we're going to have more conversations that you want to hear, more guests that are going to help us take it to the next level. This is your show, so come back. We'll see you next week.